Yes! Hey guys, salut, this is Alex and welcome back to the crazy pizza odyssey. Today we take an extensive look at the ingredients you need to make the perfect pizza dough. This video is part of a series in which we attempt at making the most perfect pizza indoors, yes, with a classic domestic oven. So click here if you want to watch it from the start or if you want to choose a specific episode. Warning! If you want the recipe and only the recipe, not my useful precision, rubbish! Then I suggest you to watch that video instead. An amazing pizza dough only requires 4 basic ingredients: flour, water, yeast and salt. And that's it. Everything else is secondary. Well, I know they might look a bit simple in a way, but there are things you should know about them. Let's take a look. Flour, not like the Mayflower. Flour, like the white powder. I use Tipo 00 wheat flour, which is a very finely milled flour with a high protein content. If you can't find this type of flour, just go for bread flour instead. It should work just fine. Warning! Go for all-purpose flour or cake flour in case of emergencies only, because basically they won't produce the most beautiful and fluffy crust. Water! Using tap water is just fine, but unlike what I read in many recipes online, you'd better use cold water instead of tepid water. You know nothing, Alex, because tepid water will boost the development of the yeast inside the dough, hence ensuring a better rising or proofing of the dough. Well, I can't argue with that. Of course not. But first, using cold water ensures a better kneading process, an easier kneading process, because the dough will be less sticky. Second, mixing ingredients warm them too because of the friction. And third, the pizza dough will rise for at least 6 to 8 hours afterwards, so I do not worry any second about the yeast development. Salt. Use kosher salt or sea salt as you like, but stay away from the table salt. Why? Just because first it's highly processed, then it has loads of additives in it, and last but not least it has less good minerals. Yeast. I use fresh yeast because it's part of the original recipe. Am I a sheep? And also because it's easy to find around here. But if you can't spot some in your neighborhood, then you can go for instant yeast, no big deal. But in that case, just use half the amount of fresh yeast you would normally use. Right, ingredients round up, done. Basta! So now let's take a look at the ratios and proportions. To make it more accurate and also easier to scale, it's common to express every ingredient as a percentage of the amount of flour. For 1000 grams of flour, you will need 57% of water, that's 570 grams or milliliters, 3% of sea salt, that's 52 grams, and 0.2% of fresh yeast, that's 3.5 grams. So you can trust those proportions because they come from a reference document written by the Associazione Verace Pizza Napolitana, which I mentioned in the Pizza Odyssey introduction. Link below, link below, link below. Well, I know working by percentage isn't very, let's say, user-friendly. A massive pain in the butt. So I made it easier for you. Go to frenchguycooking.com/pizza-dough. Input how many pizza you need, input the size you want, and boom, you'll get a custom printable list of all the ingredients. Oh yes, that's the right time to... So one thing you will notice in that calculator is that you can change the water content, and you want to go high. The higher the water content is, the softer and stickier the dough will be. On the other hand, the lower the water content is, the easier it will be to work with the dough. So why going high on the water content? Well, you might be familiar with the fact that the longer something stays in the oven, the drier it becomes. In the case of a classic Neapolitan wood-fired oven, the pizza only stays about a minute in the oven because it's really hot. But in the case of a domestic oven and its lower temperature, the pizza has to stay much longer in the oven, meaning that it will become dry if we don't boost the water content in the dough. So if you can stand working with a stickier dough, then you can go up to 70% water content. So guys, that's it for this extensive ingredients roundup. In the next episode, which is already available, you will learn how to mix, knead and form the pizza disc step by step. If you like this video, then thumbs up, like it. Also, feel free to share it with your friends on your social medias, and do not forget to subscribe to this channel because basically there is much more coming up. Bye bye, salut! That's bye bye, salut. It's bye bye, salut. What an amateur. Bye bye, salut!